Congressman Paul, I believe you are the only man on the stage who opposes the war in Iraq, who would bring the troops home as quickly as almost immediately, sir. Are you out of step with your party? Is your party out of step with the rest of the world? If either of those is the case, why are you seeking its nomination?
Well, I think the party has lost its way because the conservative wing of the Republican Party always advocated a non-interventionist foreign policy. Senator Robert Taft didn't want to be in NATO. George Bush won the election in year 2000 campaigning on a humble foreign policy, no nation building, no policing of the world. Republicans were elected to end the Korean War. The Republicans were elected to end the Vietnam War. There's a strong tradition of being anti-war in the Republican Party. It is the constitutional position. It is the advice of the founders to follow a non-interventionist foreign policy. Stay out of entangling alliances. Be friends with countries. Negotiate and talk with them and trade with them. Just think of the tremendous improvement relationships with Vietnam. We lost 60,000 men. We came home in defeat. Now we go over there and invest in Vietnam. So there's a lot of merit to the advice of the founders and following the Constitution. And my argument is that we shouldn't go to war so carelessly. When we do, the wars don't end.
And every Saturday afternoon in stadiums all over the country, you'll see young men, like this one, watching the games and enjoying themselves. But 4 years ago, it was a different story. 4 years ago, many of our young men were on Heartbreak Ridge in Korea. And that was no game, but vicious, grinding war that went on and on as if forever. Of course, today it's all over, and the young men are trying to forget. But for one day this year, they'll remember. And that one day is Election Day, November 6th, when not only these young men, but Americans of all ages will be thinking long and hard about how to vote for the surest road to peace during the next 4 years. What are some of their thoughts?
I'm engaged this time, and I'm planning to get married. And I don't want to look forward to military service in war. I want my children to grow up in a country that's in peace. I think that Ike is a man that can do this for us.
I will vote for President Eisenhower because I am the mother of 3 children, and I feel with President Eisenhower in command of our country, I can raise my children with great security.
I'm going to vote for Ike because of his outstanding record in the past 4 years, and because I believe through the Republican administration we will have peace and prosperity for my children to grow up for at least the next 20 years.
I served 4.5 years in the United States Army Air Forces and am a great admirer of President Eisenhower in what he did during the war in leading us to victory and what he is now doing to lead us to peace and to hold the peace of this world.
I have an 18-year-old son, and I am so grateful to Eisenhower for giving him an uninterrupted education. So many of the boys, his friends, were sent to Korea in a war that had no successful conclusion.
All over the country, young men and their parents are asking, can we gamble when the stakes are so high? Can we dismiss the man who has kept us at peace and take a chance on a man untried and inexperienced in international negotiations and world problems? Or what do you say? Are you willing to bet everything you love and hold dear that Stevenson can also keep us out of war? Are you that sure of it? Remember, this peace we've grown so used to didn't come to us as a gift. 4 years ago, you did something about it. You registered, and you voted Ike Eisenhower into office. Now let's keep him there. Ask yourself, is this the time to change, with wars simmering all around the world? During the past 4 years, President Eisenhower has kept this black headline off the front pages of our newspapers because he knows at first hand the terror and misery of war.
There is a global jihadist effort.
They want to follow us home.
They're coming from countries that want to kill us.
These people do want to follow us here.
Radical Islamic extremism.
They have followed us here.
And those terrorists are going to attack.
We know there's going to be another attack. I want them in Guantanamo.
Let's execute.
We had a double Guantanamo.
And let's use the word murder.
But enhanced interrogation techniques.
Very high-pressure techniques.
Waterboarding.
Chaos.
Whole blood.
Torture.
I'm looking for Jack Bauer.
Torture people.
There's a strong tradition of being anti-war in the Republican Party. I am known for sticking to principle and not flip-flopping.
Yeah, we need a good man for presidency.
I would guarantee that I would never abuse habeas corpus.
We want him to get the America wake up and help we.
The freedom message brings us together. It doesn't divide us.
I'll say, Rand Paul is here, waking up people everywhere. Rand Paul is here, making people be aware. Rand Paul is here,
the freedom message,
waking up people everywhere. Rand Paul is here,
defending liberty.
Vote for the man Lord next year. There's a doctor in the house. Is there a doctor in the house? Is there a doctor in the house? Is there a doctor in the house? Well, Houston, we have a problem. We need Rand Paul to solve them. Houston, we have a problem. We need Rand Paul to solve them.
Principle, the moral principle, is that of defending liberty and minimizing the scope of government. If you think the government has to take care of us from cradle to grave, and if you think our government should police the world and spend hundreds of billions of dollars on a foreign policy that we cannot manage, you can't get rid of the IRS. But if you want to lower taxes, and if you want the government to quit printing the money to come up with shortfall and cause all the inflation, you have to change policy.
Is there a doctor in the house? Is there a doctor in the house? Is there a doctor in the house? So code blue, somebody ball out in ICU. Them have a patient where them rip into. That's the constitution where they rip into. Need a resuscitation to fix it.
In Washington, we either prohibit it or subsidize it. And the market should deal with it and the state should deal with it. We print money for it, the value of the money goes down, and poor people pay higher prices. That is a tax. Wall Street's doing quite well, but the inflation tax is eating away at the middle class of this country. We need to get rid of the inflation tax with sound money.